It's week number 42 of the coronavirus pandemic here in Los Angeles. And first off, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. We finally made it to 2021. It's been a very difficult year of 2020. But before I start talking about 2021, I actually have to finish the rest of 2020. On the last Monday of 2020, Los Angeles woke up with the news that something big happened in Washington, D.C. The US president signed a bill that was earlier passed by Congress a week before, in which was a second stimulus package that was called the COVID relief bill. Now, if you remember in the early days of the pandemic, the US government were sending money to struggling Americans that was called the CARES Act. And there's a big difference between this second stimulus package and the first one. And here's why. So the first one that you see on your screen is the CARES Act. This is how they were sending money to struggling Americans. Now, this all is based on your income tax. If you were single and you were making up to $75K a year, you would get a $1,200 check. If you were married and both of you were making up to $150K per year, you would get a $2,400 check. And if you had children under your dependents, for every child under the age of 17, you would get $500 each. And also, you don't see it in front of you, but for unemployment benefits, they would actually give $600 per week for unemployment benefits. Now let's look on this second stimulus package that was passed just this past Monday, that is called the COVID relief bill. Now, a big difference. It's much less than the first. For an individual that makes up to $75K a year, you would only get a $600 check. For married couples, you would only get a $1,200 check. For every dependent child under the age of 17, you would get a $600 extra for every single child. And for week jobless benefits or unemployment benefits, you would only get $300 per week. So you can clearly see that they slashed the money in half compared to the first stimulus package. And all I have to say, it's a disgrace. It's unacceptable. Even the President of the United States called this stimulus package a disgrace, which is very interesting because he was actually one of the people that was asking the Congress to pass a bill that would send all Americans a $2,000 check instead of the $600 check that was passed just now. And to make matters more interesting, the Senate, which is controlled by the Republicans, and the president, who is a Republican, they're at odds with one another. The president told the Republican Senate that they have to pass it or else he won't sign it. But he caved under pressure and signed it anyway. But another interesting thing is that the Democrats were the ones that were insisting on the $2,000 check. However, the Republican Senate shut it down. So it's weird that a Republican president is supporting a Democratic Congress. And the Republican Senate now looks like the bad guys that didn't pass the hard-earned money that is being sent from income taxes to the American people. So, in a way, it is a disgrace. It's simple as that, because $600 is not enough. It's not enough to cover rent, food, and other necessities. And also the unemployment benefits as well. It's interesting that Congress is able to pass these past bills to help huge corporations, huge multi-million-dollar corporations, but can't have the sense or the intelligence or the human decency to pass money, to give money to struggling Americans all around, especially in a pandemic where the jobs are very hard to find, companies are shutting down, jobs are all-time low, and the economy doesn't look like it's making any type of recovery. So we'll see in the next upcoming month or weeks if this new administration and possibly a new Congress could maybe have a third stimulus package coming up, because right now a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are getting evicted from their homes. They're losing their job benefits, their unemployment benefits, and other things as well. So it's a very scary time. But something that actually happened that was kind of light in the end of the tunnel is that on the first day of 2021, January 1st, if you did your direct deposit income tax or had an income tax via direct deposit, you actually would get the $600 check already. So a lot of Americans already woke up in the new year with $600 already in their pockets. So even though it's little, it is helping, but it's not enough. And we'll see what happens in the near future. On Thursday was the last day of the year 2020, and what a year 2020 it has been. It is no secret that the year 2020 has been one of the worst years in modern world history because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19. But it also doesn't take away that we've shown the human spirit during this difficult period. In the early day of New Year's Eve, I actually turned on the TV to see how the rest of the world were welcoming the year 2021. And most of the world were doing the same thing. They were doing a virtual, online, or television celebration in which there was nobody outside celebrating. Yes, there were a few fireworks, but other than that, it wasn't your typical New Year celebration where you see thousands of people outside celebrating together. And when it hit here in the United States, the first city that everyone turns their attention to is New York, in which the huge crystal ball is falling down to welcome the year 2021. Usually you would see thousands and thousands of people all around Times Square, but this time, because of this pandemic, and New York still trying to tackle this huge surge of coronavirus cases, it wasn't like this. Instead, the frontline workers were the ones that actually had a front row seat to welcoming 2021, because the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, the paramedics, the medical workers, every single one of them have been doing their best to not only save lives, but also survive this pandemic as well, risking their lives at the same time saving lives. And they deserve it. So when the ball went down, everyone celebrated, but it was kind of quiet. When New Year's was kind of approaching to Los Angeles, I was celebrating with my family, and we were making carne asada, pollo asado, chips and guac, and a few drinks here and there. And when New Year's finally struck here in Los Angeles, usually you would have a lot of illegal fireworks going off. But this year it wasn't that much, because I think people either have pandemic fatigue, or they're very cautious of this new year, because since the pandemic hasn't gone away, they don't know if it's too early to celebrate, or they're not as hopeful. But in my family, we were very hopeful. We believe that the year 2021 is full of possibilities, and it has to be full of hope, and it has to be full of courage. You just have to take that one step and have faith at the same time. My wife hasn't had a day off whatsoever. She has been working around the clock. She's been working every single day since Christmas Eve, and even New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, because of the situation that is going on in Los Angeles. But I was able to celebrate with her before she went to work. But again, we welcome 2021 because it's finally here, and we don't know what lies ahead. But what I will say is 2021 is full of possibilities only if you make it so, and that you go with it with courage, with confidence, and with hope. Regarding the coronavirus here in the city of Los Angeles, the number of cases, deaths, and hospitalizations continue to surge all around Los Angeles County. It doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. And every past day, it gets worse and worse, and they keep breaking more and more records on cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. This is basically a cause and effect of what happened in the holiday season. because many medical experts said that this was going to happen if people didn't listen to their warnings, that people were traveling in the holiday season, and now we're seeing the repercussions. Now we're seeing overcrowded hospitals, low oxygen tanks, overworked, exhausted employees, medical workers, and now people have to wait a very long time just to be admitted in the hospital. This is the seriousness of the situation, in which we're pretty close to collapse if something doesn't happen soon. And right now, people are not listening, but I'll tell you that from what I've seen around the hospitals near me, like the closest one near me is the Martin Luther King Hospital. It has been overcrowded. Ambulances can't go in. They have to wait outside. They have been putting tents all around. That's the reality of the situation. And hopefully things do get better, but it's going to be a very tough month right now because they knew this was going to happen. They knew that December was kind of the prequel of what was going to happen for this upcoming month. And a lot of medical experts are asking and pleading to everyone in Los Angeles to please stay home. If you need to go outside, only go for the necessity stuff. And if you are working, and especially for people that don't have the luxury of staying inside, and I understand that, to please be very careful, to be vigilant, to wear a mask, wear gloves, sanitize, do everything possible to stop the spread, to stop the surge. Because we're pretty close to collapse, and hopefully that doesn't have another negative effect that takes place after that, because then it would be a very serious situation. But other than that, hopefully with this new year of 2021, good things are ahead. And all I have to say to all the frontline workers, thank you for your service. Thank you is not enough, because you are the real superstars, the real heroes that are putting your lives at risk. And I know you don't get as much credit for it, and you should. But we all have to band together, especially now, starting this year, 2021, because it's going to be a very bumpy ride in the first months. Lastly, I also wanted to give a big shout out to my older sister. We celebrated her birthday earlier this week on December 30th. We celebrated it with my entire family. The reason why is because we all live in the same household, so it was very convenient to celebrate her birthday without any restrictions. And in her own words, she said that she was very blessed that we were all together, we were all healthy, we were all alive, and we all had high spirits on that day. And that she hopes that in the next upcoming year of 2021, we continue to stay united, we continue to stay strong, and we continue to have the good sense of humor, because those are the keys that will keep us strong to make sure that we continue to survive the pandemic that is still raging on. So again, happy birthday, sis. I hope you enjoyed your day, your food, and also your presents as well. In addition, I also have an update of the LA Corona Diaries. If you've been in my journey so far for this entire time, you've seen me for the first 200 days talking about what was it like living in Los Angeles during the early days of the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, and all the way changing into the seasons. And then I changed from a daily video to a weekly video, and all the way until the end of 2020. And now, moving forward to 2021, I have decided that I will be doing a monthly video. I decided that because I feel that this is the best course of action, but I will continue to give good details about what has been going on in Los Angeles during the month, because I will be focusing on other projects as well. And again, I just want to give a big Happy New Year to everyone that has been watching. I know it's been a tough year last year, but this new year is full of possibilities. It's full of hope, and we must not lose that. We must not lose hope, because I know good things are ahead. We just have to keep believing. We have to stay positive. We have to stay strong. We have to stay united. And that's how we can move forward as we are fighting back this COVID-19 with these 2 vaccines that are now being spread around the world as well. So everyone, stay strong, Stay safe.